City lights under the stairs.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rotary Club of Fort Worth. Today is Friday, January the 12th. Happy New Year. And I'm so glad to see every one of you here. I'd like to introduce Scott Hackler. Please come on up, Scott, for the invocation, and that'll be immediately followed by past President Doug Briley with the national anthem. Please join us standing.
I offer as our invocation today a prayer beloved by Methodists since 1755. It served 269 years ago as the spiritual heart of a worship service led by its author, John Wesley, a priest in the Church of England. Known as the Covenant Prayer, it is traditionally recited communally at a church's first service of each new year. We are no longer our own, but thine. Put us to what thou wilt. Rank us with whom thou wilt. Put us to doing. Put us to suffering. Let us be employed for thee, or laid aside for thee. Exalted for thee, or brought low for thee. Let us be full. Let us be empty. Let us have all things. Let us have nothing. We freely and heartily yield all things to thy pleasure and disposal. And now, O glorious and blessed God, thou art ours and we are thine. So be it. And the covenant which we have made on earth, let it be ratified in heaven. Amen. Amen. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you both. That was wonderful. Next up, Greg Carter, where you at? Come on up here, mister. Why don't you welcome our visiting guests?
Good afternoon. Today we have quite a few guests. J.R. Labby, past president, has brought Jason Meyer, Andy North, Kate Lino, and Mary Parker. If y'all would stand. Bill Fairley has brought Henry Nilsson. Past President David Campbell has brought a Rotarian from Arlington, Eric Tucker. Mike Herman has brought Amy Haley. Ed McClin has brought the fine gentleman Chip Schweiger. Dr. Cindy Weston has brought Paula Cobbler. And Dr. Angelica Ramsey has brought Dr. Karen Molinar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Doug. All right. Now it's time for our four-way test. So to each of you who are first-timers at this, the four-way test is something that we as Rotarians try to incorporate in everything we think, say, or do. As a filter, if it doesn't pass this, we try not to do, say, or think those things. So if you will, please repeat along with me. Number one, is it the truth? Number two, is it fair to all concerned? Number three, will it build goodwill and better friendship? And number four, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to put that aside for a few moments to introduce our newscaster today. Now, I have to say, before he gets up here, I believe it was late the night before last when I was advised we didn't have a newscaster for this. We kind of scrambled, and this got dumped on him yesterday, so it's a last-minute thing. Hopefully, it'll be okay. So, come on up, Mitch.
Thank all of you so much. I feel about as welcome as Hunter Biden at the White House Christmas dinner. First for the weather. It's cold out there. It's so cold that at the stock show, the cows are putting out ice cream. I mean, it's so cold, I'm shivering like Hunter Biden in a tax audit. And I had to come up with a newscast yesterday, and I know that there have been issues lately with the newscasts and the four-way tests. So I had this one fact-checked by expelled Congressman George Santos. He got back to me right away. I mean, it's not like he's doing anything anyway. And George Santos not doing anything. He's sounding more congressional than ever before. But I'm glad I was able to put together a newscast. I mean, we didn't have one last week, and to go again this week without having one wouldn't be very good. I mean, you come to Rotary expecting to hear the newscast. It's kind of like President Biden calling Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and expecting him to answer the cell phone. This week, an Alaska Airlines plane lost a door over Portland, Oregon. Alaska responded by grounding its entire 737 fleet until they can come up with some more duct tape. An Alaska spokesman said that they're going to do right for any passengers whose luggage was sucked out of the plane by refunding their baggage charges. They also apologized to the teenage boy whose shirt was violently ripped off of his body during the rapid decompression. They said they'd replace the shirt as soon as he comes up with a receipt. And Alaska's CEO was summoned to NTSB headquarters for a meeting about the airline's safety procedures. He said, "I have no reservations and no issues, and I'll be there on the Amtrak in 3 days." And as I mentioned, Congressman George Santos was kicked out of Congress last month for lying. He's working on his film biography. It'll be based on a false story. Yesterday, Hunter Biden appeared in federal court to answer questions about his tax returns. He said, "I always paid my taxes with a smile." Unfortunately, the IRS wanted him to pay them with money. In other tax news, IKEA has been accused of evading $500 million in taxes. Unfortunately, prosecutors said they're having trouble putting a case together. And finally, Green Bay will be traveling to Arlington Sunday to play the Cowboys. The Cowboys should send them packing, but they'll probably leave behind a few days of their weather. And in the weather, it's going to be miserably cold and windy, but don't complain about the weather. If it wasn't for the weather, I could never end the newscast.
Mitch, I got to say, that was actually some of your best work. We're going to have to reach out to you the day before the event more often. Okay, so next up, Derek Moffitt. I believe you're coming up with an announcement, immediately followed by Chris Jordan. You're on deck, sir.
1997, I found myself with my wife and a couple of friends on the sand dunes in the UAE in the Arabian Desert. We were driving up and down and having a great time. We get out, we sit, talk for a while with some friends, and over the sand dune comes this massive Land Cruiser. And an Arab gets out, an Emirati gets out with his wife, and they start talking to us, and we're super friendly. And by the end of the evening, he had invited us over to his house. He had called ahead and had this massive spread, more food than I had ever seen in my life. There's just 4 of us. And we sat around his long table in his beautiful home and just talked and laughed and got to know each other and had a great time. And I realized at that time that Arab hospitality even outdoes our Southern hospitality. It's really an amazing thing. But we had the opportunity on January 26th to show these Omani Arabs that are coming to visit us a little Southern hospitality, and better than that, Fort Worth Southern hospitality. So we have a favor to ask of you. On the 26th, we'll have 20 Omani delegates that will be visiting us, and you'll find at your table a sign-up sheet. We need 20 people at least, to sign up, offer to pay for their Rotary dinner meals, and sit with them during the program so they can have some friends and friendly faces, and we can return some hospitality to them. So if you'll take a moment, think about that, sign up, agree to pay their meal, and then of course agreeing to host them that day, we would love for you to do that. We'll also have a meeting earlier before Rotary. We'll invite you to, if you're one of the hosts, where we can do some meet and greet and introduce them to Rotary and Fort Worth. So thank you so much. Oh, yep, there's a QR code up there as well where you can sign up. Thanks.
Thank you, Derek. Chris?
That was a good job, Mitt. It really was. All right, I want to talk about the Rotary Minority Business Award. So January is kind of our push to nominate companies for this award. So any minority company that's 51% minority owned within the city limits of Fort Worth, please nominate them. And they can even nominate themselves. Go to the Rotary website, and it says RMBA Award, it says nominate a business. It's very, very easy. This is also the time, and the cutoff is January 31st. Go to the next slide, please, Tom. We need more sponsors. We've got a great start, both the nominations and sponsors. In the past, the Rotarians have just done a great job sponsoring this award, so thank you very much for that. This year, TCU Business School is going to partner with the winners to provide an intern and also business consulting from the business school to help the winners. So they've really upped the value of the award, so thank you very much, TCU. So remember, 3.5 years ago, we only had 7 minorities represented in our club. And as a result of this reward and everybody else's work, we now have over 60 minority companies in our club. So thank you guys very much. And now's the time to get people plugged in. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. All right, Maddie Compton, will you please come up here for a second reading and a vote? Thank you.
Good afternoon. We have 1 second reading today. The following proposed new member was submitted during the January 5th, 2024 program. If no objections are received through the voting process, the proposed member will be accepted into our club. That proposed member is Howard Altschuler. His title is partner, and his company is Weaver. His classification, accounting services, commercial, and his proposer is Connie Blake. I move his election subject to attending a new member Rotary information session.
A motion, do we have a second? Second right over here. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes carry it. We have a new member. Welcome. All right. Thank you, Madam Secretary. All right, next up, looks like Don Schishler for a new member introduction. Come on up, Don. Please, both of y'all, get on up here.
Main thing, I don't want to fall down getting up here. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
It's my pleasure and honor to introduce Daly Miller to you. She's an Abilene Christian University graduate. Her major was international business and marketing. She's worked with me for 6 months at the Union Gospel Mission. She's our development director of economic mobility initiative at our community outreach center, our new community outreach center. Her mother is Sharon Drury, which she's president of Southwest Christian School. And Daly is the vice president of the board of Southwest Christian School. And also she's a junior league member. And just a delight to know, and I know she'll bless this club mightily. And she's working on the launch program that we're going to have for individuals to learn different certificates for higher pay and wage jobs. So I want to introduce Daly to you today. Daly.
Hi, thank you so much. I've been asked to tell you why I wanted to join Rotary. And what I can think of is that I grew up in a family where in our household, the sayings were, do what is right, go the extra mile, help others without expecting anything in return. And clearly that is the motto of Rotary, when you are serving others and to make this community greater. And so it is really an honor to be a member of you all who do not use those sayings and phrasings with a hashtag in the front, but with your hands and feet behind them. So thank you so much. And I think an interesting fact, I'm adding an interesting fact that I actually used to be a visual effects movie producer back in the day and got to work with some great people and talent, Robert Rodriguez, Debbie Reynolds, Heather Locklear, and even our own late and wonderful Bill Paxton. So where I think that was fun, it has not scored me any cool points with my teenagers, but I also use words like hashtag and cool points, so maybe that's it. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Daly, and welcome to the club. I hope to see that red badge turn blue real soon. Okay, for the main event, I'd like to bring up the one and only past president, J.R. Labby, poet laureate of the club. Would that be fair to say? Nonetheless, chairman of the day today, to introduce our esteemed guest speaker.
Thank you, President Kirk.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Nice job, Mitch, for short notice. I was worried a little bit that you were Scott's long-suffering part of the prayer. So, but it didn't turn out that way. So that's great. Thank you. I am delighted to bring this speaker to the club today. The string of letters behind her name are an abbreviated reflection of her clinical, academic, and administrative chops in healthcare. Dr. Cindy Weston earned a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from University of Texas Medical Branch, a Master of Science in Nursing from UT Health Houston and a doctor of nursing practice from UT Health San Antonio. It is an alphabet salad behind her name, but what it shows is the years that she hunkered down and did a lot of important work that brought her to where she is today. She is a sixth-generation Texan, so all of her life has been here in the Lone Star State, although she did tell me at lunch that that means probably the early part of her family were here as renegades and outlaws, and that makes me love her even more. Cindy started her nursing career caring for infants, children, and adults who experience cardiac surgery and organ transplantation. She's been a distinguished professor in cardiovascular nursing. She started a nurse practitioner service line for cardiovascular care. She held an academic appointment in the cardiothoracic surgery department at UT Health Science Center in San Antonio, their School of Medicine, and she served as Associate Dean for Clinical and Outreach Affairs and Associate Professor at Texas A&M School of Nursing. Beyond that, she has been the co-recipient of more than $20 million in funding to implement nurse-managed care delivery models, innovation simulation, integrated behavioral health care models, and improved outcomes for vulnerable populations. All of those previous experiences track beautifully with the direction and the focus of the University of North Texas Health Science Center, or HSC, as we call it these days in Fort Worth. Their whole health initiatives, the work they do with older adults, the work they are doing, groundbreaking work that Dr. O'Brien is doing on dementia and memory issues. She is perfect for this moment in time at HSC, which is under Dr. Sylvia Trent Adams, is breaking new ground in that beautiful location on the west side of Fort Worth that people seem to overlook. We have a jewel in that facility at the Health Science Center, and what they are doing in our community needs to be known. Cindy brings this impressive history to our community as the very first dean of the new College of Nursing at HSC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Cindy Weston.
Well, I really appreciate that very long, I think, introduction. JR, you're so eloquent. I am so happy to be here. I'm happy to be in the Fort Worth community. And you heard a little bit about my background in nursing. I've been across the areas of the state of Texas, and I am a sixth-generation Texan, and I love Texas. And my goal since becoming a nurse has been to improve outcomes and health in Texas. And have had incredible partnerships to do that along the way. And I was not looking. If you had asked me January of last year if I thought I would be in Fort Worth today, it was not even on my radar screen. But I have two sons who are physicians, and the oldest went an allopathic route of medical study and cardiac surgery. Too many of those dinner time conversations. He fell in love with doing that, and he completed a residency in Los Angeles. He was in California for 7 years, and we were waiting for him to get back to Texas. And for all this time, it looked like he was going to Houston, which is really close to College Station where I was. In January of last year, he started entering into conversations with UT Southwestern in Dallas. And in February, he called me and said, "Mom, I think we're going to end up in Dallas." And he has our 3 little granddaughters. And so I said, "Really?" And would you believe, within a week after that, the search firm reached out to me and said, "I have this position as a founding dean for a new College of Nursing at the University of North Texas Health Science Center. We'd really like for you to consider applying for this." And what I didn't tell you is my youngest son is an osteopathic physician and an alumnus of TCOM, and he is finishing his residency in New Jersey, and I also hope he comes back to Texas. But I knew the quality of the Health Science Center. I knew the quality of his education. I knew the focus on holistic holistic health. And that was my first experience actually in Fort Worth, is when we moved him up here and when he moved on to complete his residency. So I entered into those discussions thinking nothing will ever come of this. And one thing continued to grow, and I was just truly honored to be invited to be the founding dean of this new College of Nursing. But I also have the privilege to tell you a little bit about the Health Science Center, and I'm trying to advance this. Good. Let's see if I can do it right. Do I need to point out a specific thing? Okay, there. You know that the Health Science Center's goal is creating solutions for healthier communities. And our purpose is to transform lives in order to improve the lives of others. And we are adding this 6th college to the already existing 5 colleges at the Health Science Center. There we go. The economic impact of the Health Science Center has been pretty significant to Fort Worth. As of last year, we had over 2,300 students. We have over 300 faculty. I can tell you we are growing that number. I have recruited 15 faculty to date, and many of them are relocating and have relocated here to the Fort Worth area. We have over 1,100 staff and 12,000 alumnus, with almost 9,000 of them still living here and practicing here in the Fort Worth community, greater North Texas area. We also have our HSC Health, which you heard is delivering incredible state-of-the-art geriatric care and primary care across the lifespan. We have a very robust pediatric program that also has a mobile clinic that goes out into rural and underserved areas to bring vital access to wellness exams for children to keep our population healthy. We also have specialty in precision care, which involves the applied genetics. It's the only site in Texas that was selected by the Department of Health and Human Services for a federal grant to improve the care of older adults. One of the impressive programs is we actually send providers into the homes of our older adult population who can't get out and receive that primary care. We come to them. And we've also had an increase in our research expenditures. And in fact, the research awards that have been received by the HSC put us in line for the same research awards received at R01 Tier 1 research universities. And we're working on a pathway to meet all of those other metrics, but the awards are clearly there. We have a Center for Health Policy that has received an award for telementoring, and we're actually a hub for telehealth and telementoring training throughout the whole US. We have our incredible program of HSC Next, which is an incubator for new companies and startups. And I'm going to talk about how the College of Nursing is leveraging this strength of innovation, of partnering with great ideas of bringing product to market and new delivery models, shepherding them, mentoring these new entrepreneurs and inventors so that we improve health outcomes. We have strong partnerships with Create Fort Worth, Sparkyard, the small business support, and of course Techstars, which many of you are aware of. This brings 10 new innovators to our community where they receive direct mentoring from leaders within the health science centers so that their idea, their product, and their market thrives. The goal, of course, is that they'll plant that company here in Fort Worth. But we've had some incredible innovations that have arisen from that program. We also have our Eye Institute in Terry, or the North Texas Eye Research Institute, which has received over $3.5 million, just 2 new awards of that amount, and is on track for a record number of grants this year. We have our Center for Human Identification. This was like peeling back layers when I came to look at the campus. I knew of the programs that my son had experienced, but I had no idea the Center for Human human identification was really the first DNA crime lab that has been used by enforcement right here in Fort Worth. And they are one of the first that are intersecting with genealogy DNA for forensics and the justice system. So incredible work that is being done on our campus and has been done on our campus for some time. We have the Institute for Health Disparities, which has over 25 million in an award for Aim Ahead, where we're improving, addressing, alleviating health disparities through the preparation of a healthcare workforce. And we also have our 6 schools, which are 5 of them you're very familiar with, but I wanted to highlight just a few. The first College of Medicine started in 1970 and has been in this community, but what you might not know is it's actually the #1 ranked medical school amongst osteopathic and allopathic medical schools in Texas. It's #1 in primary care, and it's 11th ranked in the entire nation. That's huge. Our medical school is actually preparing the most primary care providers for the state of Texas today. We also have our School of Biomedical Sciences, which launched its first undergraduate degrees, and that actually paved the way for us to launch a College of Nursing, which will have an undergraduate focus as well in biomedical. The School of Biomedical Sciences degree is in biomedical science, but this allowed us also to come and have an undergraduate degree. The first students graduated from that degree in December and will actually go through graduation this May. Our School of Public Health is amongst the 2024 best online masters in public health programs in the entire United States. And 100% of our students from the Masters of Public Health, the Masters of Healthcare Administration, and doctoral students have been hired for their fields and are actually directly working in that field, improving access to public health care. Our School of Health Professions is our physical therapists, physician's assistants, and lifestyle coaches, and we're about to add a new program in nutrition to this school. They have opened a location just down the road on Camp Bowie, if you weren't aware, where they provide no-cost physical therapy services through Forever Fit and provide individualized exercise programs for cancer survivors and current patients. These free services have produced about $200,000 in value-based care for the uninsured and underinsured in our community. And our College of Pharmacy has been accredited for 8 years. This is the longest that any College of Pharmacy can be accredited for. It's the maximum number of time. And that's been after their first cohorts were admitted in 2013. So we're improving access to pharmacy care and producing incredible pharmacists to serve. We also are launching a Flex PharmD program, making this the very first hybrid educational program for pharmacists in the state. And what I really wanted to introduce you to was our College of Nursing. We have incredible programs and interprofessional teams that we already exist on our Health Science Center campus, on which our College of Nursing will be built and founded. As I mentioned, I moved here in July to help construct a team, and I'll show you a little bit about that team. But one of the real strengths is that these nursing students will be educating and preparing and with all the other disciplines of healthcare. We are the only health-related institution in the North Texas area preparing nurses in this environment. We have other colleges of nursing, but they're not health science centers that are located within Fort Worth doing this exact education. I have dear friends at TCU, and they have a wonderful nursing program that are producing great nurses. We have opportunities for collaboration with them as well. The real challenge is that nurses are the backbone of the healthcare system. And that became even more prominent and prevalent during COVID. You saw nurses leaving the workforce and not just retiring, but also younger nurses leaving nursing as a profession. So we're familiar with all the roles that nurses play in hospital settings, but we have seen a 48% growth of nursing moving into the community for this upstream level care, prevention, health promotion, warding off what we saw and experienced during the pandemic. So this is what we're creating here at our new HSC College of Nursing. Texas has the 4th lowest nurse-to-patient population ratio in the whole US. We have, right now, as of 2023, and those numbers are out there with the Texas Nursing Workforce Studies, we're over 6,000 nurses short just for North Texas, 6,000. So even with all of our partnered schools of nursing in the North Texas area, we're not producing enough nurses. And I have to applaud the Health Science Center for very proactively looking at this. And they've actually been working on the launch of a College of Nursing for over 2 years, exploring, knowing the need, developing the financial feasibility, and went to the state legislature where we actually received some appropriations to help launch this School of Nursing because the whole state of Texas recognizes it's an issue. And the challenge has been is there's qualified applicants out there wanting to get into nursing school, and they're qualified to do that, but there weren't enough seats for them to be able to. We're a solution to that, but we're going to train them and educate them in a little bit different format with this upstream model of care in an interprofessional, interdisciplinary approach, and with our community-based partners. So the other thing I mentioned is HSC Next and the incredible work that has come from the Health Science Center in terms of innovation. We have the opportunity to prepare nurses with a mindset of innovation. There's a whole theory and science behind being an innovator, being an entrepreneur. And historically, nurses have done that. They're on the front lines of healthcare. They are closest to the problems. And so therefore, they can be closest to the solutions. We're going to equip them with the ability to take those ideas, innovate, and for those who have the ideas that look like they're marketable, bring them along as entrepreneurs and surround them with the resources that already exist at the Health Science Center so that they can move these ideas forward and we can continue to improve healthcare and health outcomes. Our mission at the Health Science Center has been whole person health, to improve health outcomes, to alleviate healthcare deserts, and to find more solutions from hospital to home. I mentioned community-based care. Most colleges of nursing focus clinical experiences in hospitals, and we need nurses in hospitals, but we're really focusing what is the nurse's role in community-based settings. And I'll talk a little bit more about this on the programs, specific programs that we've developed. The unique nursing education that we're going to offer will have a very much a primary care focus and public service mission. Many of you know Dr. Sylvia Trent Adams, and she was a huge reason that I explored the opportunity here to create this College of Nursing. I've followed her career for years. She was a Deputy Surgeon General, of course, Rear Admiral in the Public Health Nursing Service. She was on the front lines of Ebola in Africa and HIV/AIDS way back on the early years. She has had an incredible impact on the national front and local front, a true visionary in healthcare and understanding the impact of healthcare teams. But we can get back to our public health nursing roots, I think, in our college with this unique focus of care that is in the home, care that is in our community, and partnerships within our community that are of greatest need, high value, high impact. For instance, I came here in July, and I've had several meetings, and I'm learning our community. I'm learning what our community needs are. We are really structuring and customizing a nursing program and nursing curriculum to prepare nurses to serve our community, to fill the gaps in healthcare in our community, and to discover where the needs are for healthcare in our community. We know that there's a huge need for mental health care, and that is going to be a target of the program that we're creating. And I had a little experience about that before I got here with an integrated behavioral health program that prepared nurses specifically for the pipeline of the greatest need. And we've also at HSC had the opportunity to make our care affordable to our students, and we will continue in that tradition. As someone who paid for medical school twice, that is very important. On February 1st, we will be opening our applications, and I'll give you more about watching out and navigation to our site, but I wanted to show you the incredible leadership team that I was honestly blessed to recruit. I mentioned I came from Texas A&M, and I had some work with Dr. Elizabeth Wells Beatty, who is a leader in virtual reality simulation and nursing education. She served on the national board of our nursing simulation organization that establishes guidelines for education of nurses. I've been fortunate to recruit Dr. Cheryl Thaxton as the Associate Dean for Graduate Studies, who joined us from TWU, where she served in their doctoral program. She is on the forefront of pediatric palliative care and hospice. She actually wrote and contributed to the national guidelines for pediatric palliative care and hospice for nursing. Dr. Rebecca Burns has joined us from Texas A&M. I knew Rebecca from College Station and was able to woo her to Fort Worth. I think she's going to actually end up living in Weatherford, but she will be a vital member of our team for as Associate Dean for Undergraduate Studies. She's developed very effective relationships with our community colleges. I've had wonderful meetings with Tarrant County College, who's done, actually is the largest producer of associate degreed registered nurses in our entire state, right here in Tarrant County. They're doing a wonderful job in addressing nursing workforce shortage, but we know we need bachelor's prepared registered nurses. Hospitals and research has shown for about the past 15 years that hospitals and healthcare organizations that employ more bachelor's prepared registered nurses have lower mortality rates, lower lengths of stay, lower health care costs, better healthcare outcomes. And so you've seen what emerged several years ago was this idea of magnet designation. You see that with a lot of our local hospitals are magnet status, and they portray this little symbol boldly. Magnet status means that those hospitals are employing mostly bachelor's prepared registered nurses, and they have some graduate, master's and doctoral level nurses that are also involved in improving health outcomes in those organizations. JPS here in our community, they're on their magnet journey right now, so they're looking for relationships to improve the bachelor's prepared registered nurse pathway. I say all of that. Dr. Burns has had relationships and building these relationships with community colleges, so graduates, when they come out with their associate degree in nursing, can track immediately into an RN to BSN program and receive that bachelor's degree, and then take them on a journey toward higher education. I also was successfully able to recruit Dr. Tony Chris-Naka, who was doing research at Dartmouth on digital health. Digital care is on the forefront for care delivery and care delivery models. He's bringing that strength to our College of Nursing, and we're able to create specific educational programs that will prepare nurses in this technology that's being adopted right now, but it will also be very, very important to us in the future. And finally, Dr. Kate Taylor has been a longtime nurse practitioner within HSC Health. She was one of the nurses that developed that home visit program for individuals, older populations who could not come in to receive their primary care. As a nurse practitioner, she went out into their homes to deliver that care. And she also developed a very innovative palliative care, advanced care planning program to help individuals and families make those very important decisions before they were in a crisis and needed to make those decisions quickly. So this is the timeline of creating. I kind of mentioned to you, our Board of Regents approved a College of Nursing in February. I got to come on board in July. Our Board of Regents approved our first 2 programs in August, which will be the RN to BSN, which I mentioned will take existing registered nurses prepared at the associate degree level and give them that advanced training for a bachelor's degree. And then what I'm really excited about is a master's of Science in Nursing Practice Innovation. And again, this degree capitalizes off of the HSC strength of equipping nurses with an innovation and entrepreneurial mindset so that they can take that and turn that into a mechanism to improve health outcomes. We have additional programs and plans that we're going to open, but I mentioned our applications will open on February the 1st. And we're in approval processes. This is the timeline for those programs that we intend to launch. The RN to BSN is right now at our Higher Education Coordinating Board in Sachs. We should have that approval this spring. We'll admit that first class this fall, fall of 2024, for both the RN to BSN and Masters of Science in Nursing Practice Innovation. And then right behind, we're immediately developing our programs for a pre-licensure BSN. Now, these will be newly licensed registered nurses that come through a 2+2 program. So they'll do 2 years of prerequisites, either at our main campus of UNT Denton or our community colleges or one of the local colleges, and then come in and do a 2-year completion bachelor's degree on our Health Science Center campus. We'll also follow that immediately for fall of 2025 launch with a Master's of Science in Nursing, Psychiatric Mental Health Care. Nurse practitioners, we know we need mental health care in Texas. When you look at the mental health landscape for our state, we have over 160 counties in Texas that have no psychiatrist and no psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. They might have some other behavioral health access points, but they have no psychiatrist, no psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. So we're going to bring that program to our community. UT Southwestern was just awarded appropriations in conjunction with our Texas HHS to build a new psychiatric facility in Dallas. That will be the first in this Metroplex area. The closest right now psychiatric facility is I think Wichita Falls and maybe Terrell east of Dallas, and then you start getting out toward the hill country. So in the community, there will be more access. There's definitely a need for more workforce for the counties that already exist without any providers in them, and for the new counties and expansion that's going on. So we're really excited about being able to launch that program. Our College of Medicine is launching a psychiatrist residency program in conjunction with the VA. And of course, we have campuses that are spread throughout more the Dallas area and Frisco and South Dallas, and we will eventually expand our program into those areas and bring on a doctoral program as well. So just to summarize, February 1st will be our date that we open our applications for those first two programs, the RN to BSN and the MSN and Practice Innovation. And those are in their final approval processes, which we'll have this spring. And I'd just love to open it up for any questions. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't go too long. Yes.
Doctor, you talked about a hybrid program.
Yes, so hybrid education is where some of that content is delivered online or virtually. And what we've seen with the younger generation in particular is this embracing flexibility in their educational processes. They want this flexibility, and so this will offer didactic content. So the coursework content where they can access that synchronously, but at a distant site from their own home, and receive that content. They'll still be on site for clinical experiences, simulation experiences, and their preparation as a provider. Yes.
So you mentioned digital healthcare.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that wearables? Is
Yeah.
that AI? Is that online telehealth? What do you mean when you say digital?
It's all of the above. So we've seen an uptake in the use of wearables and digital, even apps that connect to, sometimes it's a sticker or a label on the body that is receiving biometric information, such as someone with diabetes receiving continuous glucose monitoring. That can go directly to a nurse who is monitoring those levels along with the individual, and can say, I've noticed a little change in the trend here. How are you doing? Anything different in your life? And they can help them proactively talk through some of the biometric changes in real time so that they don't end up in the hospital. They don't end up with an exacerbation or labs, other conditions that occur. So it's early intervention, and that's not something, it's something that a small amount of nurses maybe working in that area have been exposed to, but not an entire profession. This is the future. We've got to have skills and competencies in this areas. Our new nurses coming out, this will be their world. And so they need to know it because it's here now and it's only going to evolve. We're seeing some really creative things with telehealth, or what we would call digital care, and some interesting models of delivery with our nursing workforce shortage, where we have a lot of new nurses, new graduates that are on very high acuity units in care delivery, and we saw all those nurses leave the profession. Well, this was an incredible amount of experience and intellectual bank that left our profession at a time that really we needed them. So through tele-digital care, we've been able to bring them back, where a new nurse might be seeing and interacting with the patient real time, and the veteran, experienced digital nurse is tagged in the room via iPad and is following along. That experienced nurse even doing some of the real-time documentation. You gave that medication at this time. Can't sign it off because she didn't give it, but or he. And so it expedites care delivery, because when that person goes back, all of this is already done for them. Those are some of the innovations that are being explored in care delivery models to shore up the workforce shortages that we're seeing and improve outcomes.
Dr. Weston, I just had a quick question about how can we get younger people to get excited about careers in nursing? I think that the digital medical piece is one component. What can we do to get the word out and to try to get younger people excited about that career, since we have such a huge shortage?
Thank you for that question. That's a great question. And I didn't mention this, I met with some folks yesterday and we were having this just more of a one-on-one discussion. So I've probably been real clunky up here and giving you the information, but I think we have to get it K through 12. And I'm meeting with the school districts. I met with school nurses just this past week for Fort Worth Independent School District. But we have to, and not just K through 12, we really need to start getting into pre-K and exposing them to health professions, health disciplines. Let them know that this is an option and an opportunity for those who have that interest of navigating them into this as an educational pathway and understanding. So I'm building those relationships. If you have contacts that would help me, I would love that. I'd love connections. But I think it's getting in front of our students earlier than what has historically been done. Way over here, sorry. Yes, thank you.
Does it still take 5 years to get a nursing degree? And I've got contacts at schools. Are you ready for that?
Oh, great.
Still a 5-year program?
It would, our pre-licensure BSN, which would launch fall of 25. Let me just kind of go through them off. That's okay. Our RN to BSN program is 1 year. It's an extra 1 year after a nurse has received their associate degree to get their bachelor's degree. Our master's program, Master's of Science in Nursing Practice Innovation, is 5 semesters. So it's about 16 months, not quite 2 years, for that master's degree. Our pre-licensure BSN is the 2+2 model. So it's 2 years of those prerequisites. But let me tell you, the landscape is many of our students are coming out with college credit. So they already have a year, some of them even 2 years of college credit of those prereqs before they ever even graduate high school. And then our completion for that bachelor's degree after they receive their Texas Core Complete and prereqs is 5 semesters or about 16 months.
Feedback on that. If we got the word out, it's a lot faster than 5 years. I think we get a lot more interest.
Oh.
In college, we can help you with that.
Oh, great. Yes, I would love that. I would love that. Yes.
On your last slide, Doctor, you have the numbers above the dates. What do those numbers mean?
Let me go back. Let's see if I can go back to that.
Bar chart, with all the dates.
Not this one. This one. So this is the timeline for rolling out our different programs, our projected timeline. So this fall of 24, RN to BSN and our masters for nursing practice innovation. Fall of 25, which I'm very cognizant, these are the freshmen in college right now, would be our first fall of 25 pre-licensure BSN students. These would be the newly licensed nurses, and our goal is to have 60 of those admitted during the first year, 30 in a fall cohort and 30 in a spring cohort. But all that's predicated on the Board of Nursing approval of that program, which they've indicated that they would do.
Above the years and months.
It indicates students and growth, I believe. Okay. Yes, that's growth of the program. Thank you. So you can see we're growing very rapidly. Yes.
So Texas Wesleyan is a very successful CRNA program.
Oh, yes.
And TCU also has a CRNA.
Yes.
So are you guys going to jump into the mix and create a little competition?
So I'm not interested in just jumping in mix. I'm interested in filling what are the highest needs and the highest gaps, and that aligns with the Health Science Center and the mission and values of the organization. Is we're looking at what is the need? What is the need here in our community? And if someone comes to me from a healthcare organization and says, hey, we have these 2 programs in town, but we still have a much greater need and we need to do something, absolutely. We're about filling the needs. And that's why psych mental health was the #1 APRN role that we looked at, because that is the greatest need in our area and really our state and probably nation. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Stay up here with me for a minute, would you? You're good. Thank you very much, Dr. Weston. What an engaging program. This is a standard, this is actually right in the sweet spot for Rotary meetings, is seeing the innovations, the new stuff that's coming online in our own community. It always amazes me personally to see like such depth in these programs that are offered right in our backyard, folks. I mean, this is stuff you expect in the big cities, and then it hits me sitting there. It's like, wow, we actually are a big city, but yet it feels like next door. So, but I digress. Thank you for your program. Rotary, locally and internationally, especially internationally, our big push is in the fight against polio. Now, we've pretty much eradicated it in the United States, except for a pop-up that comes in from other countries, but worldwide last year, we had approximately 23 cases total. We haven't had a new case. It just came out yesterday. We haven't had a new case in over 8 weeks worldwide. So that's something to celebrate. We truly are this close to eradicating polio. In honor of your presentation today, I'd like to give you this memento of our appreciation. We've made a donation in your name to the Rotary Polio Plus Fund. So there you go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're welcome. All right, some last minute closing announcements. Number one, the Veterans Committee is meeting in the Bellevue Room right after the 12th floor, right after this meeting. Number two, we have allotted 30 tickets to Rotary Night at the Rodeo. Rotary Night at the Rodeo. God, I've had problems every time I've said this. That's on January 24th. We have sold 27. We have 3 left. Now, I'm not going to auction them off up here. All right, one for you? All 3. All 3 for you. Right, see Aurora as soon as you're done. All right, so we've sold out our Rotary Night at the Rodeo tickets. All right, very good. Next week, we have Trinity River Authority coming in. Sorry, the font's not great. Their program is managing 18,000 square miles of water and related resources. J. Kevin Ward, the general manager, is going to be here to talk about all that. And with that, bundle up this weekend. I understand it's going to get a little chilly. Make sure you turn on your taps and wrap your water pipes. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Sentimental. If they stay or if they go, it isn't consequential. I will always find a pull from the line outside my door. And in the end, I watch them go. It never leaves me alone. My mother tells me one day there'll be a man for me, someone who loves me for who I am, not who he thinks I'll be. Why should I care? What does it matter? Who's climbing up the ladder these days? I'd say there's too much in me for one thing, unless there's really something. Good things might come to those who wait, but it hardly feels like waiting. Every dinner that I eat is cheaper when I'm dating. I prefer a ride in a fancy car, a night out on the town, to being stuck at home, sitting with my hubby on the couch. My father says, now honey, there's more than what you see. It's hard to make a life unless you find a guy like me.